Let's take a stroll down memory lane. I'm an 80s baby. I can remember driving and biking through Edwardsville. I remember being stopped by trains that took forever to pass by. Does anyone remember how long it took a train to pass by if you stopped at the tracks right out here in front of Market Basket? Or were you one of the sly folks that sped through the side roads trying to beat it? I grew up about 6 houses down from Richard's Brick, and I have a natural affinity for trains, especially how they scream by at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning. At that time, there was no Governor's Parkway. Center Grove Road was oil and chipped. 159 and 157 were single lanes. We had a Nationals, and there was nothing past Shop and Save until you got to Wonder Bread. My gosh, does anybody remember those day olds? There was an old home on the corner, and guess what? More train tracks with active trains. You crossed those tracks and you were in Glen Carbon at the infamous old Cottonwood Mall. Speaking of future and planning decisions, on your way to Glen Carbon, just before Wonder Bread, you just so happen to pass a wonderful green space with a tree orchard. Oh my, we had Rusty's, Schwartz Drugstore, a Dog and Suds near where Taco Bell currently stands. I remember riding bikes to Hardee's with my parents when I was 6 years old in early mornings. We biked on the roads. By the time I was 12 and starting my paper route, Gerber Road and Eastlake were oil and chipped, and by the time I retired from that, Gerber Road was paved. I can only reference what I have seen, but in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, decisions were made that impacted the future of Edwardsville. The successes of District 7 and business prosperity translated into a housing boom. New schools were built in strategic locations. 159 and 157 changed dramatically. Commercial developments multiplied. Trains in town morphed into trails, an incredible amenity for the people and the quality of life in Madison County. Governor's Parkway and Plum Street were constructed to help with connectivity and flows. This growth has allowed our mayor and council to be especially creative and thoughtful, which in turn inspired the Edwardsville Enhancement Plan. This initiative will allow us to establish green corridors within our city and help define Edwardsville throughout this region. Today's topic focuses on decisions like that, plus planning and input. Comprehensive plans are living documents that guide us into our future. You'll hear more about our comprehensive plan in just a bit. As business stakeholders, community members, and visitors, you have an opportunity to make your voice heard. Each table has a card with a QR code that takes you to our comprehensive plan survey, which closes this Friday at 5 p.m. Please don't let this opportunity to provide input pass you by. I love this city. I love it for its strengths. I love it even harder for its challenges. I see opportunities here for smart growth. With all this said, we are going to start today by revisiting 2023 and looking ahead into 2024. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce a man who carries this same love for Edwardsville. He sees everything with his Edwardsville lenses on. Please help me in welcoming the Honorable Mayor Risavy.
So I usually don't go off script, but I was thinking of something funny to start with, and I was sharing it with Chad, Opal, and James, and I was like, this morning when I got up, I looked at my wife and I said, Rhonda, do you know 250 people want to come hear me speak today? She looked at me like I was crazy. So I was like, yeah, right. But really, I'm very proud to be here, and thank you for packing the house. I'm just astonished about how many people care about our city. So thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome everybody again to the Business Forecast Breakfast. We have a mixture of business owners, educators, residents, elected officials, students, and business professionals with us today. But I need to start by thanking Bella Milano for catering for this great breakfast. I want to thank Lewis and Clark Community College for this venue, and I want to thank the EHS Orchestra's Chamber Ensemble for the lovely music. Let's give them a round of applause for that. I am very thankful for our city employees who are mostly up here at this table. This city works because of them. We have over 200 employees. I'm so grateful for everything they do. I also want to acknowledge a few of our elected officials from the city that are here today. If I miss anybody who is here, just stand and yell at me. I have Alderwoman Elizabeth Grant. I have Alderwoman Andrea Miracle. I have Alderwoman Jennifer Warren. And I have our city clerk, Michelle Boyer, and Alderman S.J. Morrison. All right, thank you. I would like to invite our city employees to stand and be recognized, and any former elected city officials and former city employees are here today because I notice there are several of them in the crowd. So if you could stand and be recognized as well. So today, we're going to start by taking a brief look at our financials. Our estimated EAV for 2022 is $997 million, which is a reflection of our strong property values. We are nearing $1 billion. That's hard to grasp a number like that. We had over $82.6 million in investment in 2023 across all segments of development. Though our investment totals are lower than last year, they are still reflective of a strong community. There are economic factors, both locally and nationally, out of the city's control that impact our development. Of the $82.6 million of investment, $11.2 million was single-family homes, $58.8 million was commercial investment, and $12.6 million was additions and remodels. In 2023, we issued 977 permits, which was on par with 2022. We saw 26 single-family permits, 216 commercial permits, 1 multifamily permit, and 734 remodels. This reaffirms the commitment of our citizens and businesses that are reinvesting in our community, and we're very grateful for that. 2023 was another busy year for the City of Edwardsville. We look forward to what 2024 has in store for us and beyond. Let's start by revisiting 2023 briefly. Firehouse Subs, Cafe Birdie, and Play It Again Sports opened in March of last year, with Brick and Bramble following in April. In May of 2023, the city welcomed many businesses that cater to every taste and interest, including Cloud9, Rain, Alibi Cookies, and Sneakies. That could be an interesting evening out. That's off script too. Actually, I told them, I'm never going to say that. So, but there you go. Next, the Honorable Senator Erica Harris, State Senator for the 56th District, opened her office on North Main Street. Clementine's Creamery opened in June of 2023. The Experience Barber and Beauty expanded in June of 2023 to include the Experience Lounge, where you can enjoy live music, amazing drinks, and great people. The third location for Kimchi Guys opened on Trace on the Parkway in July of last year and features Korean fried chicken. Trace on the Parkway welcomed the nation's largest specialty cake company, Nothing Bundt Cakes, in July of 2023. Personally, I enjoy the individually packed bundlettes. Drunken Fish, a modern Japanese restaurant, opened in August of 2023 next to Kimchi Guys on Trace on the Parkway. In September, another business on Trace on the Parkway, Goshen Coffee, expanded with a lively decor that includes couches, chairs, allowing patrons more space to work and hang out. Fun fact, Goshen Coffee made a specific West End service station blend in honor of our grand opening. Moe's Southwest Grill opened in Ironworks Development in September of last year, the first Illinois location. Our communications coordinator, Kathy, her favorite is the Edgy Veggie. So if we have any vegetarians out there, Moe's is your place. Bronze Tan, located off of Center Grove Road, opened in September of 2023. After a long winter, I think I will be paying them a visit. So remember those all-inclusive cards, you can tan as much as you want every month, so I'm gonna be working on that. Lockmuller Group opened their office in downtown September this year, and will have their ribbon cutting later this week. We're very excited that they decided to choose Edwardsville as one of their homes. The Opal Bash Group, a women-owned law firm focusing on estate planning, is located on St. Louis Street, and their ribbon cutting in October was in October of last year. And with 5 locations in Missouri, the High Point opened last October and is located traced on the Parkway. Personally, I like their cowboy burger. So, that's funny too, so one more time. All right. Fusion Taco, located on Century Drive, opened in October of 2023 and features unique combinations of Mexican and Asian cuisine. And then we have the Urban Collective Boutique Hotel. It has 8 different suites featuring unique themes and opened in October of last year, complementing the Ink House Event Space Center. The Urban Collective Hotel, in conjunction with the Ink House, was awarded the Best New Venue by Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau and Corey Jobe at their annual summit this year. Opened in October of last year, Mio Osteria can be found on South Kansas and features Italian, authentic cuisine with different lunch and dinner menus. Charlie Ray, formerly online-only business, opened their brick-and-mortar location on North Main in October of last year. This boutique features children's clothing with a focus on ages 5 years and younger, including an extensive line of clothing for boys. However, Charlie Ray also has matching women's items like Mom and Me plus some other items for tweens, so please visit them. Koenig's Country Market opened in the fall of last year on the corner of Vandalia and St. Andrews Street. You can find a mix of area farm goods such as the local honey, Amish chocolates, strudels, produce, and more. Brevity Credit Union, formerly known as the Granite City Steel Credit Union, opened in Ironworks. Mitchell Highlander LLC, experienced family law attorneys, held their ribbon cutting in November. Peddled Pale and Company opened on Black Friday, but their grand opening was in January. Hashtag We Tell Love Stories, if you want to check them out. 360 Infusions opened in December of last year on South State Route 157 with a business model emphasizing mental wellness. The Cup, a gourmet cupcake bakery, unveiled their new look in December with a grand reopening. And it's not just for you. You can take your pet there. I took my dog Augie there, and he loves their pupcakes. Homestead Financial moved to the Edwardsville in January. The Tesla Supercharger Station opened in January at the RLP West. Other types of vehicles may be charged if you bring an adapter. Spoonful Korean Dessert Cafe opened in January, sharing space with Pokemunch, and specializes in bingsu, a Korean shaved snow cream top with fun toppings such as strawberries, mangoes, blueberries, and fruity pebbles. Sauce on the Side, known for their handcrafted calzones, salads, and dessert, opened last month in Trace in the Parkway. I think I tried a few things there. The Magic Carpet Ride was an excellent meal. I really enjoyed it. Golf Discount opened a couple weeks ago on Trace on the Parkway and carries the latest golf products at the lowest prices. And The Farm, a pocket neighborhood, debuted at 134 East Union in the fall of 2023, offering a new community concept. It features a common area and a courtyard located within walking distance of our charming downtown businesses. City Walk is a pocket neighborhood that introduces infill redevelopment to Edwardsville. This fun construction project is located in the 200 block of East Shore Street within close proximity to many downtown businesses. Trace opened the third and final phase of residential units in 2023 with 77 additional units. Edwardsville continues to see interest in these mixed-use developments. Residents have a plethora of amenities, including walkability to restaurants, goods and services, and immediate access to the MCT trails on the Parkway. The Station on Main. As 2024 progresses, we can't wait to see the continued evolution taking place at the station on Main. Details will be forthcoming on future tenants. Stay tuned. The Albert. Construction is underway. Fund construction redevelopment project on St. Louis Street, which will have 4 retail spaces on the lower level and 14 one-bedroom apartments on the second and third floors. In 2023, we also had businesses find new homes in our city. Revive Chiropractic moved to Century Drive in May of last year. Tyler personally works on our Economic and Community Development Coordinator, James, and he could not be happier with his alignment. Thank you for sharing, James. Bank of Madison County opened their new location on South Main in August of last year, bringing new life into the historic Staley building. Edwardsville Bank expanded their business with a grand opening last October at their new location on Bennett Drive. And Roselle Chiropractic moved from University Drive to Country Club View, Suite 101 last month. The Bank of Hillsborough will be relocating from Troy Road to South Buchanan. It's under construction. And Great Clips moved from the Montclair Shopping Center to Edwardsville Marketplace. And 222 Artisan Bakery has exciting news to share as 2024 unfolds. The city has other new, neat, and notable announcements that we need to talk about today. Spotlight Edwardsville are videos showcasing local businesses and organizations in Edwardsville. Last year, GC Cuisine and Crystal Garden Banquet and Event Center, Restore Decor, Runwell, the Glenhead Pantry, and Panteras Pizza were featured in Spotlight Edwardsville. If you would like to nominate any business, local business organization for a Spotlight Edwardsville video, please just go to our website. We'd really like to hear your input. Excellent in Edwardsville encourages service through selflessness. This award recognizes residents whose generous efforts, contributions, and achievements foster and enhance civic pride and responsibility, promote appreciation, and embody the spirit of our city. William Wachesik was a recipient in October of 2023, and Isabel Armstrong was a recipient in December of 2023. Dan Lilliansick received the Excellence in Edwardsville Award in January of this year. If you would like to nominate someone, please visit our website and fill out the form. The Tourism Advisory Committee wants to make it easier than ever to have fun in Edwardsville. Whether your online planning and outing are all ready to go, Destination Edwardsville highlights 17 existing local attractions, sharing information about those via our QR code that you can scan with your cell phone. The Nickel Plate Station, the Watershed Nature Center, and Edwardsville Children's Museum will feature a monument sign at their locations. The QR code on the sign offers access to additional details and to other Destination Edwardsville sites. In December, with additional grant funding that could only be used for Route 66 projects, we added the Edwardsville sign to the 12.5-foot tall Route 66 monument at State Route 157 and Shore Street. A shout out to Mr. John Falcone for sharing this photo of your beautiful Camaro. Last fall, a Welcome SIUE Cougar 1,000 square foot mural designed and painted by Dwinny Charlman was completed and graces the wall of the former Goshen Butcher Shop on North Main Street. The Goshen Market teamed up with Lewis and Clark Community College and hosted the market at the N.O. Nelson Complex during the Edwardsville Rotary Criterion Festival. In addition to the wonderful vendors, there was live music, chalk art, carnival games, free entry into the Nickel Plate Station, and photo opportunities with Blazer, the mascot. The Mississippi River Festival was a 12-year summer arts festival held at the outdoor amphitheater on the campus of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. In more than 300 performances, the MRF brought music of all genres from some of the most popular musicians in the world, dance concerts, comedians, and drama to the MRF stage at a price everyone could afford. The finale to our Route 66 celebration will take place on June 9th in the LeClaire Room at Lewis and Clark Community College. Mark Pierce, author of When the Stars Came Out, Stories of the Mississippi River Festival, will join co-writers Lyle Ward and Jack Tweston to share behind-the-scenes stories of the festival. The Fab Lab will also be open for tours, so please stop on your way. The West End Service Station, a Route 66 interpretive center, opened in June of last year and takes visitors on a nostalgic trip back in time through stories and photos from the past decades. Admission is free and is open from 10 to 4, Friday through Sunday, with Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau staff available to answer questions and provide details on other Route 66 attractions. My friend, Alderman Jack Burns, who passed away last October, was instrumental in ensuring that this project was timely and on budget as chairman of the Finance Committee, along with Alderman S.J. Morrison. The Children's Museum added 3 exhibits in the last year. The Goshen Market, sponsored by the Bank of Hillsborough, the Farm to Table Outdoor Kitchen from Envisioning Green, and the RP Lumber Observation Deck. Additionally, the Discover Garden expansion, which includes the H&F Exteriors garage, features an auto repair shop and pedal cars for children to drive on the new Route 66 roadway. The expansion was funded by 2 grants, $169,000 from Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau, and $90,000 from a grant from the state of Illinois. Infrastructure projects that are so important. The city has undertaken many projects in the last year, including Buchanan Street water main and resurfacing, which you can see on the slide. North Kansas Street water main and resurfacing. Troy Road resurfacing. University Drive Phase 1. Gateway Commerce Center Drive East reconstruction, 159 shared use path, 2023 resurfacing program which resurfaced Brown Avenue, Aldrich Street, Wolf Street, Dewey Avenue, South Fillmore Street, and East Park Street. Additionally, IDOT completed the Troy Road 159 resurfacing south of Robinson, widened the intersection of 157, and West Street with continued resurfacing of 157. Something new, the Illinois Secretary of State and the city teamed up to offer a mobile DMV service several times a year at the Edwardsville Public Library. It was very well attended this year. The first mobile DMV was held on February 9th from 10 to 2. Appointments weren't necessary. You can get new and renewal identification cards, driver's license renewal, vehicle registrations, real ID, and voter registration. Opera Edwardsville was named one of the best events at the Great Rivers and Route Tourism Bureau Annual Summit this year, and we are happy to announce today that their annual holiday concert will be held at the Wildey Theater on December 19th. Lincoln Middle School is in the midst of Phase 1 construction, which includes a 60,000 square foot addition that will include a competition gym, a dual-purpose storm shelter, annex gym, media center, commons, 6 classrooms, and a multi-purpose room, and is expected to be completed in the summer of 2025. Phase 2 construction is anticipated to take 3 years and will begin this summer to include a 90,000 square foot handicap-accessible renovations of classrooms, hallways, offices, and student support centers. The Edwardsville Commission is an ordinance-driven commission that replaced the Cool Cities Initiative Advisory Committee and the Edwardsville Beautification and Tree Commission. They met for the first time in January of this year with meetings on the second Wednesday of each month and advised the City Council on matters relating to sustainability and protection of the environment to policies concerning the selection, planting, maintenance, and removal of trees, shrubs, and other plants within the city. Next, we're excited, we have our new East Fire Station. It's located at 7407 Governor's Parkway. It became operational in February, and it's 150 years after the first fire company was organized in Edwardsville, so we have an anniversary. It's 8,400 square feet, environmentally smart features such as solar panels, radiant floor heating to effectively warm the bays, and to dry wet equipment, and bifold bay doors that open and close in a third of the time to speed emergency egress and limit heat loss. Construction began in November of 2022 and was built by Morrissey Construction. This is the third station that is strategically placed based on response time, projected population growth and density, and expected future development. The East Station replaced the former Station 2 on Montclair Avenue. That's where I used to vote for 20 years. So it will be missed, but we're very excited about the new station. After diligently working with the Edwardsville Arts Center and securing a new home base, a temporary solution may come to fruition. Last Thursday, the Administrative and Community Service Committee recommended to move forward with a resolution authorizing a lease agreement with the Edwardsville Arts Center. If approved at City Council meeting this evening, the EAC would lease the former Montclair Fire Station for 2 years while they raise funds and work on obtaining grants to acquire a more permanent home. We have been fortunate to rely on our businesses and community partners to help sponsor our parks and recreation and sports programming. This support allows us to provide our low-cost festivals, events, leagues, and tournaments for the thousands of people who participate in our events every year. We are grateful for your support. If you haven't participated but want to learn more about the opportunities to do so, please pick up the information sheet. It offers contact details if you have additional questions. If you're interested in subscribing to the city's Business e-newsletter and any of our other newsletters, scan the QR code to get connected, please. The City of Edwardsville thrives on volunteerism. The Parks and Recreation Department has a wide variety of volunteer opportunities that can help you gain valuable experience, make use of your skills and knowledge, and meet new friends. These include such events as the Route 66 Festival and the Winter Market Festival. You could also consider serving on a commission, a committee, or a board. Applications can be found on the city's website. If you are an Edwardsville resident, there are currently openings on the Band Board, Historic Preservation Commission, Human Relations Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals. Edwardsville relies on our volunteers. Our committees are very important to us, so if there's anybody who would like to get involved, you are welcome and encouraged to either reach out to me, one of the aldermen, or please just jump on the website. The Edwardsville Enhancement Plan. This strategy for creating a green corridor throughout the city, improving parks and public spaces, and enhancing the community's quality of life is incredibly exciting. Our goal is to enhance the beauty of the area and the quality of life with smart growth principles that prioritize the preservation of green space. The Edwardsville Enhancement Plan will utilize revenue from the recently passed 0.25% sales tax increase to acquire and preserve green space, invest in city parks and new public spaces, fund future capital projects, and support the city's public safety pension. This sales tax increase took place January 1st. We're hard at work to identify and acquire spaces that can be set aside as green areas for all to enjoy and to help provide a balance with development that we've seen and enjoyed. Most recently, we acquired a piece of property on Benton. It's 0.34 acres of land at 211 South Benton. It's an empty lot at the intersection with West Park Street. It is part of the Crocker Gardens neighborhood in the city's Ward 4. Also, Governor's Parkway and Gerber is 3.42 acres of undeveloped land in the northeast corner of Gerber Road and Governor's Parkway. On February 28th, the city hosted an open forum for residents to share their ideas for the future of these green spaces, and it was very well attended. As mayor, I appreciate hearing the voice of the community, and I know it is extremely important to our aldermen as well. Now, to take a further look into this year and beyond, we want to talk about a few more exciting developments that are taking place right now. We have Park North development. This 94-acre multi-use development is going to be huge and a wonderful addition for people in Edwardsville, throughout the area and region, and a great complement to Plummer Family Park. A Topgolf type sports attraction plus restaurants and more have been announced and are anticipated. This shows our commitment to our eastern corridor and highlights our great access to I-55. Another key piece to this project includes the Sports Park Drive from Plummer Park to 143, which will provide direct access to Plummer Family Park from I-55. This is a Plocker-Byron collaboration. We await with eager anticipation the future announcements of what businesses will be coming. Next, we have Phase 2 of Plummer Family Park, which will include 13 new pickleball courts, with one being a championship court that's sponsored by OMG for a total of 25 courts. 6 NCAA regulations beach volleyball tournaments. 4 large baseball fields, 2 of which can be converted into 4 smaller fields. This is referred to as a 60-90 field. And we're anticipating additional playground equipment. We would welcome conversations with business partners interested in supporting this dynamic expansion. Last April, SIUE executed a contract for $105 million of state-funded for the health science complex located in the northeast corner of South University and University Research Drive. This building will be the home of the School of Nursing and Pharmacy, but will also be available for teaching students enrolled in health and human behavior courses. I had the pleasure of attending the groundbreaking ceremony in September of last year. Construction of this project is well underway. Next, the Land of Goshen Community Market returned for their 2024 season on May 11th in downtown Edwardsville from 8 to noon each Saturday. We have some businesses coming. SoCal So Plants and Gifts is expected to open at the end of this month at 301 North Main Street. This custom plant shop will offer houseplants, succulents, tropical, and cacti for everyone, for even those without a green thumb like me. This business has already hosted a Houseplant Care 101 class, a propagation education workshop, and a Mommy and Me plant party. Also, Go Yoga Express is expected to open in Whispering Heights within the next few months. Another anticipated business is Plaid Coffee, which debuted at the 222 Artisan Bakery and is available at the Green Earth Grocery Store, Goshen Market, and the Farmers Market in Tower Grove. The exciting news is they are renovating the former Highway Cafe and plan to open their coffee roasting and retail location there in the future with a Route 66 memorabilia and a Scottish vibe, serving Scottish eggs, breakfast sandwiches, bagels, and pizza. Also, we have AQ Nail Bar, which will be next to High Point, Carrollton Bank drive-thru, Save on Liquor, a BJC expansion, EXO, Raising Cane's. Yes, we're going to have a chicken war. Actually, I ate at Raising Cane's last week, and I would say I like it a lot better. Plus, it's in Edwardsville. Is Bob Marcus here? All right, we'll continue. Christian Brothers Automotive, Backstage Bar and Patio, and Wing Zone. Now, I would like to welcome James back up to the lectern. Thank you.
I'm also going to just go a little bit off script. I usually try not to do this, but these things, I see many of us using them as coasters right now. And I can promise you they are not coasters. They are lovely stickers with our Find Your Fun Destination QR code on it. I appreciate everybody's resourcefulness, though. And yes, people at the city table are also doing that. I now have the pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the day, Andy Struckoff. Andy is passionate about the fact that planning must be done with the intention and empathy and must be followed by action. Whether in the course of a plan, a community arrives at a need for programs, a set of new policies, or physical development, the plan must include clear roles and responsibilities for stakeholders to undertake in order to ensure that those needs are met. Andy has worked with more than 100 communities across the country to help community stakeholders formulate their vision. He has helped communities develop into new community organizations, new policies for economic development, and has helped clients achieve more than $3 billion in real estate development over the course of his career. Please help me in welcoming Andy to this lectern.
Thank you, James, for the introduction. I appreciate it. Oh, here comes the computer. Thank you very much. Okay, appreciate it. All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm really glad to be here with you this morning. This has been like a great vibe so far. Try to keep it going. A lot of mental takeaways from the mayor's presentation. Not surprised at all to see the growth happening in Edwardsville. Thinking about sauce on the side, I recommend the Pancho Villa calzone. It's got a little spice to it, but it's my favorite. Got some mental notes about how to make a weird night happen in Edwardsville, too. So I'll be coming back to visit. So we're going to talk through a little bit, a couple different things. So right now, me and my team are working with the community on the comprehensive plan for Edwardsville. Looking forward to the year 2044. And I'll talk a bit about that, give a recap, and then get into some data, talk through some initial findings, look at some neat charts and graphs, and talk about what that means, talk about planning and economic development, talk about how planning kind of lays a groundwork for economic development. James said it well at the beginning of the presentation of the session when he talked about a comprehensive plan as a living document, and that's really what it is, and that's what our philosophy is as well. It's a framework that the community can use to make decisions into the future. And in that respect, it is a living thing, an ongoing reference, sort of like your manual on how you want to do things into the future. So we're going to talk a little bit about that process. First, a little bit about PGAV. We've been in St. Louis since the mid-1960s, coming up on our 60-year anniversary. We have offices in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Orlando, Florida. As James mentioned as well, we've worked in many communities throughout the country. We have partners at PGAV because we're a larger firm than just our planners group, which you're getting to know through the comprehensive plan process. 170 architecture, planning, and design professionals. We've worked across the planet on all kinds of different projects. In October, we took the entire company to Abu Dhabi for a week to see SeaWorld Abu Dhabi, which was a trip because it's hard to imagine mushing Orlando and Las Vegas together into one place, and that's kind of like Abu Dhabi. So let's see. So the nice thing about that is that we have a lot of firepower here in town that we can bring to work for you all in Edwardsville. So when we're working on our planning process and when we come up with design needs or graphic design challenges or anything, we can go grab anyone from our design staff to help out. Now, the project team for the comprehensive plan includes PGAV, our partners at CMT, and our partners at KSG. I'm going to introduce our senior project manager, Kristen Harden, who's going to give a brief overview of the comprehensive plan and an update on the process and where we're at right now.
All right, awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen, so I am leading the comprehensive plan, being assisted by my partner here, Noelle Maxey. As Andy mentioned, we brought together a unique team for this comprehensive plan project, CMT, who's leading the transportation aspects of the plan, and then KSG, who is taking the charge on the community engagement aspects of our comprehensive plan. So I know we've got a good mix of folks here in the audience. Many of you, as we saw earlier, are current or former city employees, and some of you have been engaged in this process, just kind of looking at some familiar faces in the room. But 4 questions that we often get asked from the public and our steering committee at the start of a comprehensive plan is, what is a comprehensive plan? Why are we doing this? How does it work? And who's involved in this process? So as James alluded to and Andy mentioned here, a comprehensive plan is essentially a long-range policy document for the city. It's an opportunity for the community to come together to develop a collective vision for the future. It identifies, potential projects and uncovers opportunities for the city. And through all of that data and analysis and community engagement, you sort of balance that all together to, identify recommendations that will eventually guide the city toward that future that you're envisioning. So in short, we like to just kind of say that it's really just a roadmap for your future. Then why is it important? Well, the Illinois Municipal Code authorizes cities to prepare and plan for the area within their corporate boundaries, as well as the area within 1.5 miles outside of the corporate boundaries, obviously except where that overlaps another community. So here in Edwardsville, in the north, the east, and a little bit in the west, you've got a lot of opportunities as we think about the future. So, that's some things that we will be exploring further throughout this process. When we talk about how a comprehensive plan process is completed, it begins with an existing conditions evaluation. So, we're looking at demographics and market trends and how those things have changed and impact the community over time. We're, looking at the physical landscape. How does the mix of land uses in certain areas of the community impact what's happening? How is development occurring and how has that changed over time? And then we do a lot of engagement. So we like to, be creative and plug into places where people are already showing up, work with local partners who already have some sphere of influence. So we're not necessarily reinventing the wheel and, trying to garner interest and engagement from everyone in the community when we can kind of plug into existing networks. And so we're happy that you all are all here today. And so you are now ambassadors for the comprehensive plan. Okay, I thought you might be a little bit more excited about that. Give yourselves a hand. Awesome. And then from there, like I said, it's a balance of the existing conditions and that engagement with the community to really identify and come up with what we call objectives and key results, which are essentially your recommendations for the comprehensive plan. Then at the local level, the comprehensive plan, it looks at important topics and questions that are relevant to your community. Across the country, housing is a big priority. If you look at any comprehensive plan process, that's top of the list, trying to navigate the waters of the housing market at the local level. But Edwardsville, every community is a little bit unique. Not every city has the rich history and tourism assets that Edwardsville has. So, that's an important and unique opportunity for Edwardsville. So that's also something that we're looking into. And then also, as James so eloquently mentioned, in the planning world, we like to think of a comprehensive plan as a living, breathing document because, over the last 10 years, you've all can see the level of change in the types and the scale of development that's occurred in the city. And so you want that comprehensive plan to be able to adapt and change as the market and trends in your community changes. And so that's why those incremental updates at that 5 and 10 year mark are important, while the plan itself is kind of casting more of a 20-year vision. And then finally, who participates? When we go into the process, sometimes we hear, well, shouldn't the residents be the only folks who kind of chime in and provide their feedback on this planning process? Well, we like to think more broadly when we use the word community. So we're thinking about the people who live in your community, your traditional residents. You're unique in that you have a university here, so you've got students that are living here for a good portion of the year. You've got, some employment centers in your community, so you've got workers who are commuting to Edwardsville who also have a unique perspective and experience with the community. And then again, the tourism aspect. So you've got visitors coming here for the Route 66 Festival, for Goshen Market, and all the retail that's being developed. So all those folks together kind of make up your community because of the unique perspectives and experiences that they have. And so they can tell us a lot about different topics related to the comprehensive plan. So here is just kind of an overview of the comprehensive plan timeline for Edwardsville. So we recently completed phase 1, which is essentially our existing conditions phase. If you reference the card on your table, envisionedwardsville.com, that'll take you to the project website where you will soon be able to review that existing conditions document. Right now, there is a community survey that's live and that'll close this week. We are sort of in the middle of our engagement phase of this. We'll be pretty soon getting started on some stakeholder interviews. So some of you in this room might be getting an email from us soon to get you scheduled for some one-on-one and some focus group conversations. And then from phase 2, we'll move into what we call land use scenario planning, and this is really where we start to dive into the land use dynamics and the types and scale of development that's happening, and that really puts us in good position to develop that future land use plan and street layout, which really kind of sets the tone of what types of development, commercial, housing, industrial, is desired and where that type of development should locate in the city. And then that future street layout supports that, and that it helps you, think about and plan for the transportation and other types of infrastructure that's needed to facilitate the desired development of the community. And then finally, we'll move into the OKRs, which is the objectives and key results. So those recommendations, writing the plan, and then the adoption process. And so that process will flow through the Plan Commission and then to City Council for final adoption. So community outreach, we have been doing a few different things. We've got the project website, there's a community survey out, you've got some collateral here out on your table. We also have kind of a pop-up table set out in the atrium, so we'll be around if anyone has questions and would like to provide some feedback today. We've done that in a few places around town. We had our first pop-up last year back in October at Goshen Market, and then we also had a pop-up at the Winter Festival. So, again, like I say, finding those opportunities to plug in where the community is already gathering, it just fosters a lot of, natural and genuine feedback. And so these were pretty fun events working with city staff. And then we had our first open house event at the RP Lumber Center back in November. So during this event, we had an opportunity to present a lot of the information from our existing conditions report and then gather input from the community about a lot of broad and general topics related to the city's future. So today I will just leave you with please, please, please take those little cards with you, visit the project website, and complete the community survey to make sure that your voice is heard in this process.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Kristen. Kristen mentioned the sort of existing conditions work that we've done, and what I'm going to talk through now is some of those findings and some interesting facts. The fun thing about doing a comprehensive plan is it's an opportunity for a community to tell its story, right? And that's why engagement is important. That's why we need to hear from people in the community. And also, getting into the data is a part of that story. So helping us understand what people see, think, feel, and experience, and also looking at the data and kind of putting those two things together and helps us put together the planning and land use map. So at PGAV, we sort of operate where planning and economic development intersect. We believe strongly in implementation, that the plan you have at the end of the day needs to be usable and implementable. So we care a lot about that and work toward it. It's a strong bias that we have. If we just give you a book at the end of the day with a bunch of pretty pictures in it and you never look at it again, then we have failed in our jobs as planners. And that's why the framework that we choose and the objectives and key results that Kristen mentioned is important to us, because it's a little bit more concrete than broad goals and objectives, right? The objective is like the thing you want to accomplish. It might be housing development or it might be commercial development, and the key result puts a number to that thing. So you might say housing development, we want to add 100 housing units. And that's a key result that you have for the future. And then after a year, you go back and look and say, okay, did we facilitate the construction of 100 housing units. Well, we actually built 125. I was like, okay, so we exceeded our goal. How did we do that? Why did that happen? Should we be aiming higher than that for the next time? In that way, it sort of keeps the conversation ongoing with the document. So now I'm going to start going through some things that just we see in the data. Some of these things you may be familiar with, some of these things you may not be. Some of these things certainly follow in line with what the mayor talked about earlier this morning with respect to growth and development in Edwardsville. And I gotta say, just conceptually, I got into this business because I believe in the future of this region, right? Like we all hear it from time to time that the region itself, the MSA, isn't growing in any meaningful way. I honestly believe that one day in my lifetime that trend will reverse and will start growing in a more aggressive way. Edwardsville's growth, I think, shows a really good example about how a community can grow in the St. Louis region. And some of that growth, I think, is the result of planning decisions that you all have made in the past, which I think is positive. So you see here, this map just indicates that the population in Edwardsville has grown, which is something I think you've all experienced, 8% growth in population since 2010. Now, this chart just looks at educational attainment. So, we want to understand, the population in the community and understand how Edwardsville relates to its peers and how it stands out in the region. And obviously, with a large entity like a state university, like SIUE, within the city, means you have a lot of college graduates, and you have a lot more college graduates, people with bachelor's and graduate degrees in your community than your peer communities in the Metro East, as well as a higher percentage than the MSA in the state of Illinois, which also translates into higher household income. Right? You have a larger proportion of higher earning households than in the MSA or the state of Illinois, and you compare very favorably with your peer cities in the Metro East. And then we looked at employment across industries in Edwardsville and in some peer communities. And in most places, the highest proportion of employment, the highest industry sector is services. And services is a broad category that includes a lot of things. It includes restaurants and food services. It includes nursing facilities. It includes safety, administration, and places like that. I mean, that's close to 56% of the residents in Edwardsville work across those industry sectors and services broadly. Now, the next two are transportation and manufacturing, which I think is a result of the industrial development you all have had around the 255 corridor over the past 15 years. And the diversity of your employment base and the diversity of the land uses you've built in Edwardsville has led to you having the lowest unemployment rate this side of the river. Okay, so you guys are around 3% unemployment, which is better than your peer communities. You see on this chart here, this is unemployment starting in 2013, going through 2022. You see that peak there during the pandemic when everything went haywire, and you see sort of kind of come back to the trend line that we were on before the pandemic, which is positive. And then we look at where do people work, right? Where do people in Edwardsville work? And roughly 20% of your workforce stays in Edwardsville every day for their job, which is interesting. And you have a lot more people coming into Edwardsville to work than leave every day for work, right? So Edwardsville is a major center of employment for the region and also for your residents. So the graphic on the left there shows, kind of how that dynamic works. People coming into Edwardsville every day or leaving every day. And then kind of for people living in Edwardsville, where do they go to work every day? And Edwardsville's biggest destination for work is Edwardsville. These two maps show employment concentrations, one from 2010 and another from 2020. And you see in 2010, when industrial development hadn't really, it had started over in the 255 corridor, but hadn't gotten that big yet. not a whole lot of employment concentration there, but then in 2020, a lot more employment concentration there. That's the result of some planning decisions that the Edwardsville community made 15 plus years ago to facilitate that sort of development, which has led to a lot of job creation in Edwardsville, which has led to low unemployment rates in Edwardsville. And I think low unemployment rates outside Edwardsville as well, as many people who work there come from outside the city, which is a very positive thing and something I think you all should be proud of. I should also note that a couple of the strengths that you do have, like SIUE, very stable employment base. Downtown Edwardsville, also very stable and growing employment base. The corridors 159, 157, also opportunities for growth and diversification of your employment base. And we see those kind of commercial land use areas here on this map. And I'm going to focus on some commercial land use data here in these next few slides and just talk about some fundamentals. And when we talk about this, we use all kinds of different data. We use, market data, data from brokers. We use some cell phone tracking data, which sounds a little big brothery, and it is a little bit big brothery, but it's also super useful information to have, since we're all carrying cell phones on our persons at all times. And that way we can know, how many people go to a place on any given day, where do they go after they visit a place, where did they come from? And that helps us understand the dynamics of land uses, right? Like how land uses relate to one another within a place, like within a downtown or within a city overall. So we'll start just by looking at some commercial retail data. And you're looking at numbers of visits in certain places. Like if we look at downtown, we look at Troy Road, Route 159, and Route 157, the numbers of people going through those places is an extraordinary number of people visiting these places each year. 1.9 million people going to downtown Edwardsville, more than 11 million people going through Route 159, and roughly 3.75 million people going through Route 157. It's a lot of people. 3 million people go to Cardinals games every year, and you're getting that number of people along Route 157. And also looking at the shopping centers that you have, Edwardsville Crossing gets the most visitors, or this selection of shopping centers, with close to 5.6 million people. And that's, a large number of people making repeat visits each year. Okay, that's 763,000 people making 7 trips to that shopping center every year. And the 763,000 people, that's roughly the same number of people that go to Dallas Cowboys games each year, right? The Dallas Cowboys have the highest NFL attendance in the league, and that's, 7 times that going to that shopping center, right? Yeah, sorry to invoke the Cowboys, but it's just a helpful number, So the mayor's presentation indicated a lot of activity around commercial retail development, which was not surprised to see at all for you all. Because Edwardsville, you have been capturing most of the retail commercial growth in Madison County over the past decade, right? And we don't see that trend really changing. In fact, we see the table on the left here kind of indicates that commercial retail might be contracting a little bit outside Edwardsville, but is definitely growing within Edwardsville, right? So you have some really positive things going for you, a lot of positive gravitational pull. All that traffic I just talked about means more people want to come and be a part of that traffic and capture all those people that are coming to Edwardsville, which is very positive. Which means, those charts on the right there, the top one is, occupancy rate trends. Occupancy is very healthy, and rental rates are also very healthy. People ask us all the time what's happening with brick and mortar retail because so much happens online, right? And I'm sure we've all used Amazon Prime at some point in time in the past few weeks. I'm sure we're all using it a lot more than we did before the pandemic, just because we got used to using it then. I know that's sort of the way my family has gone. But still, 80% of retail sales happen within a store. And the mayor highlighted that Charlie Ray Children's Boutique, which started as an online business, is now opened a brick and mortar location in downtown Edwardsville, right? And that's happening a lot, right? And that's an important trend to recognize and be aware of, and be thoughtful about capturing those kinds of businesses, because I'm sure there are other businesses, and I've seen businesses like that open in Kirkwood, where I live, where online retailers need a brick and mortar place because they want to have a showroom, right? They want to serve their customers well. They want to have a point of sale as well, and they could be thoughtful where they locate because they know where their customers are, because they get address data from where the people order from. Talk about commercial office a little bit, and the office market sector these days is super weird, right? Because the pandemic kind of disrupted everything. People started working from home a whole lot, and we're still trying to understand that. And, this map, you see the clusters of office space and office development in and around Edwardsville. The nice thing that you all have is the office space in and around downtown Edwardsville being the county seat and also being home to university. Right? These are places that people have to go to every day. It's really hard to serve people from home if you're a member of county government or city government, right? Like you have to be in your seat every day interacting with people and working. Likewise for university, people have to be there every day, which means it's going to keep the traffic coming into and through Edwardsville, which is a positive thing for ongoing development. And also a stable thing for office demand. And the office market in Edwardsville looks, stable to us based on the metrics that we've looked at, stable and growing. Now this map here shows where industrial land uses are in the city, and we touched on this just a few minutes ago, the industrial development along 255, and kind of how that fits into the region. That's a large cluster of industrial development. That's an important cluster in the St. Louis region overall. And there's been a lot of industrial development happening across the St. Louis MSA over the past 10, 15 years. That's because St. Louis has a lot of natural assets when it comes to industrial development, right? We have 6 of North America's major railroads pass through the St. Louis MSA. We've got really great highway access. We've got the Mississippi River. It means tons of things are coming and going through St. Louis, through Edwardsville, every day, every year. Okay, so that means it's an important place for manufacturing, transportation, and logistics, which fuels a lot of growth in industrial development. And Edwardsville has a big chunk of that. So these charts, the ones on the left, show occupancy rates and rental trends, and the table on the right shows, demand for industrial space. The chart on the left, there's a dip there at the end in occupancy because Dial relocated, but we don't see a problem with them getting their space released to another tenant. Rental rates have been moving in an upward trajectory as well. But Edwardsville has been capturing like 20% of the industrial development across the region has been happening in Edwardsville, right? Which is a big deal. I mean, job well done. To capture that much of the entire region's industrial development in your community is quite an accomplishment. And certainly it means you're capturing the lion's share of industrial development in the Metro East, okay? And you still got room to grow, and which you should. I'll talk about tourism a little bit. The cell phone tracking data we talked about is also super helpful for understanding tourism. And James, I'll have to share with you, our destinations friends at PJV publish a book every year called Voice of the Visitor, which kind of talks about why people go to places that they go to. Why do they take the kinds of vacations that they take? And since the end of the pandemic, there's been a lot of pent-up energy around tourism. And people want experiences. Like the entire world has cabin fever, right? They want to get out and they want to do stuff. They want to play golf. They want to play sports. They want to sit and spend 2 hours at a restaurant having dinner with their family, out amongst people, because they didn't get to for so long. And we're able to see sort of the trends in visitation. Visitation to Edwardsville has been up over the past couple of years, right? Which is a positive trend. And as Kristen mentioned earlier, you've got a lot of great tourism assets bringing people into Edwardsville. You've got Route 66, you've got 610,000 overnight stays come to Edwardsville every year, which is a lot of hotel demand as well. We looked at Plummer Family Park and the people coming to that park. It's close to 560,000 people in 2020, close to 550,000 in 2022, and on pace to match that in 2023. And where do people go after they go to Plummer Park? They go to a hotel. They're staying at a hotel in town or nearby, at the Holiday Inn and Suites in Edwardsville, or they go to Freddy's in Edwardsville, or the 54th Street Bar and Grill, or Target or Culver's. So those people are coming into Edwardsville from outside, and they're doing what they do at Plummer Family Park and then going and spending more money in Edwardsville, which means it's a positive multiplier effect for the community. There's also tourism for SIUE athletics, people coming into town and attending basketball games and soccer games. They will come to town and then afterwards they'll go have dinner someplace, or they'll go stay at a hotel, or they'll go shop or do some other activity. So this constellation of data kind of puts together a tapestry of facts that we use to start putting together objectives and key results and thinking about policy decisions. And those policy decisions inform the land use plan and also inform zoning recommendations. So what we want to do is we want to manage growth in a way that Edwardsville achieves its goals, changes what it wants to change, keeps the same what it wants to keep the same, accommodates the growth in a way that benefits the community. And that happens through thoughtful economic development and planning. The plan at the end of the day is sort of a policy framework tool to guide those decisions, and helps you ask questions like, what sort of development do we need? Where do we need it to be? So what zoning decisions do we need to make in those places to facilitate that kind of development? You have to say that the diversity of development types that you have across Edwardsville is fantastic, and I would think the envy of many other communities in the St. Louis region, because you've got like the funded development with the cottage homes, close to downtown, walkable. You've got apartments, you've got the Trace, which is a great mixed use kind of a place that I know other communities in St. Louis have looked at doing but haven't been able to do quite like that at that scale. So thinking about those decisions you made in the past, thinking about where you've placed those, thinking about opportunities for more development like that achieves density, that achieves a really nice place that's going to last and be sustainable, is also going to drive more traffic to Edwardsville and more tax revenue so that the city can continue to provide services to its residents in the way that they're accustomed to receiving is all very positive. Within that, facilitating development, think about policy frameworks, think about zoning, think about development finance incentives as well. Like all those things are sort of part of this. And at the end of the day, put together a roadmap for you to make some decisions to achieve what you want to achieve. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Just a couple more small items. I think we talked about this. Well, first of all, Andy, Kristen, thank you. That was absolutely wonderful. We've talked about it a couple times now, but this is the card of importance right now. This is the QR code to our comprehensive plan survey. I mentioned earlier that I hear a lot about traffic. Well, you can tell me more about that right here. Before I bring the mayor back up to start the next portion of our agenda, I do want to highlight that as we close down, as this is ending, Lewis and Clark Community College has graciously offered tours of their Fab Lab in this facility. It is right down the hall. It is such a wonderful asset on this campus. I encourage you all to stop by and check that out. Without anything else to say, Mayor, please come back up.
So now we have one of the very important things at the breakfast today is we have some awards to hand out. Today, we're going to give out the Large Business of the Year Award. We're going to give out the Small Business of the Year Award. And then we're also going to give out the Volunteer Organization Year of the Award as well. We will start with the Large Business of the Year Award, which goes to Prairie Farms. Dairy Farms is one of the largest dairy cooperatives in the United States, and it has called Edwardsville home since 2017. Its history, of course, goes back much further to 1938, I believe. The company celebrated its 85th anniversary last year, making the occasion in many ways, not at least of which was a special proclamation by Governor Pritzker. At their Edwardsville headquarters, there's 7,000 farm associates, 47 manufacturing plants, and more than 100 distribution facilities. They produce and sell a whole herd of delicious foods. Those include many award-winning cheeses, dips, beverages, butter, and ice cream. New products are always coming. They recently introduced a line of new iced coffees, I believe, too. Single serve. Their greatest concentration of customers is throughout the Midwest, but they also have a range of products that can be found coast to coast in Hawaii and overseas as well. They are a global company. Even with that expansive reach, they remain firmly rooted to all of their home communities, donating to and supporting local causes in many creative ways. They have been an amazing partner for the City of Edwardsville, specifically the police department, for every fall for the National Night Out in City Park, donating delicious treats for the crowd and even bringing some of their bovine business associates for their kids to meet. Prairie Farms humbly states that what they do is all about the dairy farmers who own us. We proudly thank them for choosing Edwardsville for their headquarters and for all they do on behalf of their company, their customers, and their community. We award them the Large Business of the Year Award. Next, I would like to introduce Darren Copeland and Mike Dorian, if he's here.
I'm here. I'm Mike Dorian.
Would you like to say something?
Yeah, just real quick, I was asked to Darren Copeland wrote that wonderful overview, and also I got to mention my wife, my beautiful wife, Tabitha, joined me here today. Matt McClone is our CEO. He asked me to step in. He was unable to accept this award, but he wanted to extend our personal appreciation for it, number one, but also to the city and community that we work and live in. So we really appreciate this. We got a lot of growth and a lot of good things coming in the future, and we look forward to it. And I'll leave it. I think this audience will appreciate. One of the things we like to be known by dairy farmers. We like to always brag that we work for Main Street. We don't work for Wall Street, and I think that resonates with this community. So thank you very much. We appreciate it very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, the 2023 Small Business of the Year Award goes to Artisan 222 Bakery and Cafe. Artisan Bakery and Cafe is the Small Business of the Year winner for 2023. Kim Goodner and Trevor Trainer, co-owners, are committed to community service and have a passion for helping people and other small businesses. Year after year, and the community asks and 222 helps. They always do. Fridays and Saturdays are pizza days, with $1 from every pizza sold being donated to groups such as Habitat for Humanity, the Goshen Market Foundation, Restore Decor, and the Glen Ed Pantry. Their partnership with Afterwards Bookstore and the Cyclery are feel-good, positive stories that have resulted from these small businesses assisting one another, and make me proud that these small businesses choose Edwardsville. Not only does 222 partner with other small business, but also have assisted in the Tiger Den at EHS by purchasing much-needed equipment for them to operate more efficiently, purchased soccer balls and kickballs for 4th grade classroom at Columbus School, donated salads, pizzas, coffees, pastries to the overnight warming location, and have a Matthew Butler fund jar that staff and patrons add money in order to pay for meals for those who walk in their establishment hungry. Congratulations to Kim, Trevor, and their entire 222 Artisan Bakery team. We appreciate everything you do in the community, and we look forward to visiting you at your new location in the future. Okay? That's right. Don't cry.
I'm old, we cry now. first of all, Prairie Farms, we've used your milk at our bakery for the lattes, the everything. You have the best milk that makes great lattes. I got to throw that part in. We will continue using Prairie Farms also.
I'm gonna apologize because my mom will ramble a bit too, so I might just try to keep her on task.
Okay.
So.
Got it. On behalf of our staff, Trevor and I would like to thank you for this honor and humbled to be in the company of previous recipients as Mark's Appliances and the Chef Shop, who, if you guys haven't gone there just for their popcorn, I mean, all the other items and stuff that they have there too, but also all that they give back to the community. They've been awesome in helping us this year as well, so I want to plug that in. Small businesses are the heart of the community. We have the opportunity to watch families grow, glasses on, meet other families, and then they become the best friends. Couples meet, marry, and start families of their own, and we get to watch it all from the small businesses. Small businesses are places where everyone knows your name. All of us small business owners become close, not only with our clientele, but with each other. When we hear of a business needing help, we do what we can to help. We purchase local as much as possible to ensure we all keep going, and we give back. We donate to local causes. We endure the rising prices of eggs, meat, and grain, just to name a few, increase in utilities, rent, and fuel. We are who we are because of our community. We accept this on behalf of not only our employees, but also the cyclery, who not only help us move recently, but consistently buy bagels, fix our bikes, and get us excited about hitting the bike trails. Afterwards Books, who puts on story time and donates coupons for free books to the kids. Seams for the Soul, who help other small business hopefuls set up shop and get a good start. Chavez, where Lisa brought her grandfather's recipes to life and answers questions that I had in running a small business. Annie's Frozen Custard, a beloved staple, and gave my daughter Brooklyn her first job. Runwell, who work with runners and walkers and volunteer to run with folks before the sun comes up. We'd be open at 4 in the morning, get there, and the runners would be out going. Acres Barbershop, who has been in the same place for decades. Jericho Electric, Cleveland Heath, Source Juicery, Sgt. Pepper's, Northside Dairy, Mojo's, Swing City, and many more. We all encourage each other to continue on, and we all make a difference.
Thank you. Next is the 2023 Nonprofit Business of the Year goes to Restore Decor. Restore Decor was started in 2013, and for the last 10 plus years, they've been committed to connecting people to our community by helping those in need. Volunteers spend an immeasurable amount of time and energy accepting donations, moving, repairing and painting furniture, as well as staging their shop with accessories and assisting customers on Saturdays. The funds raised from the sale of restored furniture helps the poor and underserved population in the area and the exempt organizations that serve these same people. As you can see from the list, the volunteers were hard at work donating to a variety of organizations. Congratulations, Dana Adams, President of Restore Decor, Eric Adams, Treasurer, the rest of the board members, and all of the volunteers that are many that make the organization so amazing and deserving of the 2023 Nonprofit Business of the Year Award.
Thank you, Mayor, and the City of Edwardsville. This is an incredible honor to be recognized along with so many wonderful business leaders in our community. We're a little bit different on Main Street. Kim so eloquently mentioned all of the wonderful businesses that we have on Main Street. We kind of stand out as a nonprofit, but we hear those same stories that every single week as people come into our Main Street shop and talk about, hey, I'm here visiting my kids in college this weekend. I wish our community that I came from had a downtown like Restore Decor. It is the place where kind of everybody knows your name when you walk into a small business and they recognize you. We literally have customers at Restore Decor that have been walking through our doors since day one, almost 11 years ago. So we feel very, very honored. I always tell people, when God planted this crazy harebrained idea of Restore Decor on my heart, he could have planted it anywhere. Of course, I happen to live in Edwardsville and call it home proudly. But there's a reason Restore Decor is a one-of-a-kind nonprofit ministry and that it exists in Edwardsville. It's because of all of you. It's because of all of our citizens and all of our local businesses that really are just an incredible community. People giving of their time and their talents, of their things to donate to us, and of their money to intentionally choose to shop somewhere where their proceeds go back to help those in need in our community. So thank you very much. We are incredibly proud of this honor and proud to be a part of the City of Edwardsville. Thank you.
In closing, I always like to share with people what it's like to be mayor, because I get that question a lot. And so many people say, oh, it just must be terrible. Lots of complaints, a lot of people upset. And then I take a moment and I say, well, actually, the truth is, I would say 98% of the people who call me to thank us for what we do, ask how they could get involved, how they can help, and are just appreciative about our community. I really like everything about being mayor. I like working with our developers, which there's a small number of them. I appreciate their commitment to our city. I like working with our volunteer organizations who are so committed to the City of Edwardsville. Our small businesses who work so hard every day. Our church organizations, our citizens, our former employees, our current employees. Really, everything about Edwardsville I personally think is great. Doesn't mean we don't have our challenges. So many times we get up here and talk about all these things. We have challenges. I'd like to have a new residential neighborhood. I worry about pension funding for police and fire. I worry about the safety of our neighborhoods, and we're doing a great job with fire and safety. So Edwardsville has some unique, special challenges, and they're different, very different. The way I explain it in Edwardsville, in the most basic sense, people want a strong fire department, a strong police department, and a strong public works department to improve your roads, streets, and your sidewalks. But in Edwardsville, it's that and everything else. It's all the events, from the municipal band to Opera Edwardsville, to the symphony, to the Criterion, which is put on by the Rotary, to the Halloween parade, which is put on by the Chamber of Commerce, to the art fair, which is put on by the Edwardsville Arts Center, to the Route 66 events, to our Friday night concerts, to our Edwardsville Wildie, to our history events that we have throughout the city. The Stevenson House, the Children's Museum, the Main Street Community Center, and I'm sure I'm missing a dozen. Is there any others? Is there anything else, somebody else is on somebody's mind? Goshen Market, of course. Thank you. I don't want to miss that. So I really feel like that Edwardsville has something for everybody. And that's what I think is important. We want to be a community where we're trying to make sure that everybody can have something that keeps them excited. And that's what it's like to be mayor. Another thing that I realize as I travel the state and I get to meet with other mayors, which really surprised me, is when they hear that I'm from Edwardsville, they might not know who I am, but they know Edwardsville. Trust me, I know they do. I walked by the Secretary of State. He didn't know who I was. When he heard I was from Edwardsville, he turned around and goes, "You have a great community." And he's not the only one. It happens over and over again. And I'm very grateful for that. And it's not just me and the aldermen that are here. It's the past aldermen, the past employees, the past administrators, the past citizens, all the people that have helped Edwardsville. So in closing, I want to thank Bella Milano Catering. I want to thank our employees, once again, our elected officials. I want to thank all of you for coming. I'm so glad to have everybody here. And I'd like to recognize some of our employees who had special efforts today. James Arnold, thank you. Kathy Hensley, our Communications Director. Devin Gray, our IT Director, and John Cunningham, who works on the cameras. And I'd also like to thank Desiree Gerber for all the effort and hard work to make this event a success. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you. It's people like you that make Edwardsville a great place to live, work, dine, and socialize. So thank you for coming. Please come next year.
Wonderful presentations today, a wonderful message shared. As the mayor said, this concludes our event. Thank you.